Hey, how you doing? Jason from Braxton's War Room. I'm actually going to do a quick little review on the game I just played and post some videos on. That's Rock of the Marne from the Standard Combat Series Multi-Man Publishing, the gamers as well. This is volume 12, and I believe this is the third game for World War I in the SCS series behind Drive on Paris and also Operation Michael, which I haven't played. Believe it or not, this is my first SCS game. And because I've been on a World War I kick lately, this one really seemed like a good battle to start with. Also being that it's later World War I where some of the more modern tactics started to take place and armies started acting a little bit more like World War II armies. So it seemed like it would be a better fit for the system. I'll just quickly look at the components. I'm not totally convinced that that's going to be helpful, but why not? So the only real issue I had with the components is the map. I actually think the map, the artwork's very good. Your typical gamer style, you know, the hex grid and whatnot. But like I said, the artwork, the trenches, everything is great. The only drawback is the contrast between some of the counters, especially from the Entente side, the French counters and the Italian counters, blend in with the color they have here of the open terrain. Makes it a little bit harder to see, but not so much where it detracts from playing too much. So not too much to complain there. The rules were very clear. I actually downloaded and used the Series 1.8 rules from 2015. Very easy to understand. The scenario-specific rules were same thing, very easy to deal with. No problems at all, very clear. That's what I like about the lighter games. Sometimes they're much easier to learn. I learned the system fairly quick, ironed it out. And part of the reason why I'm doing this is because yesterday at a convention I played the full campaign face-to-face with a friend of mine. The one I did on video was my solo playthrough. This is, I played a full campaign yesterday. It took about 7-8 hours. Not too bad. Can't really see the counters too well. I have them here in this counter tray, but it's your typical gamer style counters. Very functional, you know. I was happy with them. Very easy to read and differentiate between the unit level, the unit differences and whatnot. So I don't, I've read a lot of the reviews of this game from people who are a lot more experienced in the series and World War II games, especially using the SCS system. And me in particular, I didn't have a problem with a lot of the issues that people brought up with. A lot of people felt that it didn't depict World War I very well, maybe with the exploitation rules. But the games that I've played, could be just the way that I played them. It didn't seem like it didn't fit, in my opinion. During this time of the war, tanks were in use, lots of tanks actually. And there were some pretty big areas in the line that got blown through and a lot of exploitation took place. One of the cool little things in the rules about the tanks, if the tanks take place in any sort of form of combat, offensive combat, they become broken down and you can't use them for exploitation. So that's one way they kept it from being too overpowered. And you actually have to repair them, spend an entire turn with them underneath stacked with a headquarters unit in order to repair them. And I thought that was fine, and it kept the tanks from being too overpowered. So one thing with this grand campaign scenario, it's the two games that I've played, and my friend and I that I play with agreed that I won as the Germans in both games. And the Germans early on are able to break through the Allied lines, grab a couple victory point spaces, and it's difficult for the Allies to get those back. And for the Allies to break through the line up here, which I'll show really quick. So the trenches on the west side of the map, which are located here, you see right here, this is where the main Allied breakthrough happens, starting on turn 8. And they have to get victory point spaces here, and there's a couple more here. The Germans take the spaces down lower at the bottom of the map. It's tough because the Germans get some timely reinforcements that come in here and slow the Allies down enough where it's really hard for them to punch through. So my opponent and I both agreed that the Allies have to really concentrate their forces, not on a broad front, but on a more, to try to make sort of a thrust, a pincer, or a thrust through the line instead of trying to attack on a broad front in order to punch through to reach those victory point spaces. And he wasn't able to do that, so he actually wasn't able to gather any victory points. This was his first time playing the system too, so I think if I was to play the Allies, I would go about it a little different. We both agreed that if he would have played it a little bit different, he would have had a much better chance in changing the outcome. So it wasn't necessarily something I saw wrong with the game or the system. I think it was just choices of the player. So I think this is a cool game. I really enjoyed it. Maybe it's because I don't have a lot of experience with the other SES titles, or I don't know. But from my opinion, I wouldn't say I'm super new to wargaming. I've been playing about total 10 years now. I really enjoyed it. So if you like World War I, you like the subject, I highly recommend it. But play it more than once or twice. That's what I would definitely recommend. So with that, I don't think I have anything else I can add. Rock of the Marne. Any questions about the system? I'm on Board Game Geek. Braxton Bragg is my funky handle, so if you want to private message me about any questions, hit me up on a comment on YouTube. Feel free to. All right, have a good one. Thanks for watching Braxton's War Room. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next. Probably something World War I. All right, that's it. Have a good one.